Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm your host, Peter Zablocki, and you're listening to the 11th limited series of the History Shorts podcast. Each weekend this month, I will examine some secret or rather less known tales from World War II, at least as far as historical consensus is concerned. The idea for this series and the specific topics come from the book Top Secret Tales of World War II by William Brewer, published by Castle Books in 2008. This series is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate podcast listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the globe, all in one place. Download Podcast Republic now and take your podcast experience to the next level. As always, thank you for continuing to tune in each day and allowing me to tell you a story. And if you have not already done so, make sure you click that subscribe button. If you like this show, the best thing you can do is spread the word to your friends. For more information, please visit www.historyshortspodcast.com. Today on episode 2 of our History Shorts Secret World War II Salon Kitty, the Nazi brothel spy ring.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
In an affluent district of Berlin, a brothel known as Salon Kitty opened its doors in the early 1930s. Its proprietor, Katharina Kitty Schmidt, had cultivated a clientele drawn from the city's upper echelons: diplomats, industrialists, high-ranking civil servants, and senior Nazi party figures among them. In these early years, Salon Kitty functioned as a discreet yet comfortable haven for the elite, operating under the radar of deeper political intrigue. As the tides of power shifted, however, in 1939, Reinhard Heydrich, head of the SD and one of the Nazi regime's most powerful figures, identified a singular opportunity in the morally hyped fantasies of high-ranking officials. Heydrich envisioned a means of intelligence extraction through seduction and the vulnerable confessions of those unconstrained by decorum. He tasked his subordinate, Walter Schellenberg, with converting Salon Kitty into a high-level espionage hub. Schmidt herself became involved in this plan. Caught attempting to flee Germany in June 1939 and arrested at the Dutch border, she was given a stark ultimatum by Schellenberg: cooperate or face the concentration camps. Under duress, she acquiesced, retaining nominal control of the house, but surrendering its operations to the secret Nazi SD. Following the takeover, Salon Kitty underwent significant transformation. Its 9 bedrooms were lavishly redesigned to conform with the highest standards of 1930s luxury, enhancing its appeal to powerful patrons. Behind the facade, however, the rooms were wired with sophisticated eavesdropping devices, and the basement was converted into a surveillance center. There, SD operatives transcribed every whispered secret, capturing the intimate and private conversations of visitors for analysis and use by Nazi intelligence apparatus. The selection and training of the brothel's women became a calculated component of the operation. Schellenberg issued a confidential directive calling for women and girls who are intelligent, multilingual, nationalistically inclined, and furthermore, man-crazy. Language that showcases both the cynical manipulation at play and the emphasis of ideological loyalty. Berlin's vice squad, the Sittenpolizei, was tasked with rounding up suitable candidates, evaluating them for both attractiveness and potential as agents. Many were drawn from Berlin's high society. Many were married women of financial means who served discreetly in a brothel under the assumption of anonymity. They were not merely meant to entertain, but to extract information, identifying uniforms, listening closely to conversations, and submitting debriefings after each encounter. Though not informed of the hidden microphones, they were integral to the intelligence process. Clients of Salon Kitty were a roll call of power under the influence. Among its most notable patrons were foreign dignitaries, such as Italian Foreign Minister Galeazzo Ciano, Benito Mussolini's son-in-law, and leading Nazis including SS General Sepp Dietrich, Joseph Goebbels, and even Heydrich himself, who made inspection visits when surveillance devices were inactive. With alcohol and seduction as the facade, guests indulged without restraint, often revealing unguarded opinions and classified information. The clandestine equipment ensured that every utterance was recorded. Ciano, for instance, reportedly expressed harsh critiques of Hitler's strategic decisions, unaware that those remarks would be documented for Berlin's security services. The surveillance did not go unnoticed by every visitor, however. A British intelligence officer operating under the alias of Lubo Kolchev, a Romanian press secretary, discerned the presence of wiring within the premises. He became a regular patron, arranging for the extension of wires so that the British intelligence could tap into the same conversations the SD was monitoring. Despite the sophistication of the operation, its lifespan was limited. By 1942, Salon Kitty's utility had diminished as the pool of VIP clientele dwindled under wartime conditions. In July of 1942, a British air raid destroyed the building, necessitating its relocation. With the assassination of Heydrich earlier that year, Schellenberg lost his principal patron and advocate within the Nazi hierarchy. Consequently, the SD quickly abandoned the espionage project, returning nominal control to Kitty Schmidt under implied threats of reprisals should she speak publicly of the operations that went on there throughout the war. After the war ended, Schmidt remained silent about what had transpired beneath the polished veneer of her brothel. She died in 1954 without ever disclosing the identities of those who worked for her or the full scope of the SD's operations. In the years that followed, the building continued its lease as a pension operated by Schmidt's family. By the 1990s, it had been transformed into housing for asylum seekers, though this too ended amid local protests. Estimating the scope of Salon Kitty's surveillance remains speculative due to the loss or destruction of records. East German security services later estimated that SD had made approximately 25,000 recordings during the years the operation was active. Virtually none have survived the post-war era, either due to conscious destruction or the absence of ongoing relevance to post-war authorities. Over time, the Salon Kitty story entered both public consciousness and popular culture, heavily influenced by sensationalist accounts. Walter Schellenberg's memoir, The Labyrinth, published in 1956, first revealed the operation in detail. Peter Norton's 1973 work, Madame Kitty, expanded on the narrative, which later inspired the controversial 1976 film Salon Kitty by Tinto Brass. These portrayals blended rumor, stylization, and eroticism, often obscuring historical accuracy beneath dramatized fiction. Historians remain cautious, however, noting the scarcity of corroborating documentary evidence from the era and some reliance on post-war memory. Ultimately, most of its secrets are lost forever to history. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our regularly scheduled episode.